Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Coffee with Dr. Carla. And I'm Dr. Carla, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. And today I have Mary Simpson, who's decided to be so nice and she's going to interview me for this first episode.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
So, our goal during our Coffee with Dr. Carla time is to talk about mental health related issues and to start that conversation so that we can end the stigma around all of them. So, I thought this first episode we would probably kind of start at the beginning.
So, I know you being a counselor was not where you started. This is a change of career for you, even though you've always had a passion for it. So, can you kind of just start by telling everybody about just what did you do at first and how did this all just kind of transpire?
Sure. I mean, my first career was in special education. I was a teacher, I was a principal, I was a case manager, I did consulting in schools. So, anything around the world of education, I was doing that. Um, but um, a lot of mental health issues popping up in and around my own family, for myself, and Eva, my best friend of 21 plus years, and I have always known we wanted to do something like this, but we never knew what it was. It took us quite a while to figure that out. So once we finally decided that we understood that it had to be something, uh, that was, about 10 years ago. And that meant I had to go back to school, of course.
Okay, okay. So how did the name come about? Just tell us like the background of just how once you knew you was going back to school, what led you to the name and just finding
Sure.
the location. And then you have me, counselors, other counselors like me, and you also have interns.
Right, we do. We've got a whole bunch of things going on. So I always knew that if I can get my thoughts in order, right, that the world could change for me. This my own personal, like if I could change those thoughts that were happening in my head, then I would be able to discover the potential. I was going to be able to make differences in my life. And my thought was always, well, if that's true for me, then it's probably true for other people. Um, Even I bounced around a lot of wellness type ideas and never quite landed on anything. 2010, we finally realized that it probably had to do in the world of psychology or therapy or something to that nature. And at that time, I was working at DePaul University. So I made an appointment to go talk to their psychology department. I was working in the School of Education then. And I spoke with them and I said, look, this is kind of what I want to do. This is how I want it to look. I want to help people, make these differences from a real kind of cognitive behavioral standpoint. And at that point, she said, well, you don't need another doctorate. You don't need to be doctor. You just need one of those. And I was like, thank you, Jesus, for that. And so she was really, actually, she's the one who set me on the path of, she said, go interview all these different schools, tell them what you want to do, and see what they're willing to do for you and how they're going to help you get to your goal. And so I did that. And so I looked and looked and looked. And finally, in 2011, Adler sent out something around sports psychology. And so when I went to have a conversation with them, I realized that it was the mental skills training piece that really intrigued me. And so I thought that with my counseling degree, um, we can go places. So that's kind of how that piece started. The cool part was because this was not my first go around in school. I knew that there's going to be assignments and I would have some choices, and I realized there was going to be other choices. But those that I did have choices, I made sure that I wrote papers about what it would mean to change your thoughts or how to transform your life or around mental skills or, how you could take like eating addictions and work with those. And so I was very purposeful in everything I did. So that was really lucky. Um, and one thing that I really liked was our advisor brought in somebody to work with us on creating our own practice.
Okay.
And so he led all the students. There was generally probably like 30 or so students in the workshop through the process of like the beginning of developing a business plan and what it would look like and how to set yourself apart from other people. And he actually came once in my first year and once in my second year. And both times out of a hat, just pulled some, like one of the groups out. And each time it was my group that got to be the featured one. So not only did I have practice figuring out all these questions and stuff like that, then mine was featured, so it was dissected even more.
Okay.
And so every crazy idea that I put up there, and people went, I'm like, well, we won't be using that idea anymore. And then I put up another one. They're like, well, yeah, no, that doesn't really work either. And so even though, you know, it was an exercise early on, it allowed me to kind of cut through a lot of the stuff. And so we finally got to, interestingly enough, the tagline came before the name.
Okay.
So, change, discover, transform. So change your thoughts, discover your potential, and transform your life. So we had that. We're like, okay, if that's it, what are we calling ourselves? Well, then we got to the fact that I was Carla Carter with the CC, so then we should have a CC in the name. I mean, it really got goofy. We had big papers all up around Eva's kitchen with all these things written on there, and we finally got to the cognitive clinic. So, um, yeah, it was just kind of like one of those things that
Mhm.
just we had a lot of very interesting, not good options. But that definitely was how we got started with just like the name and even the tagline and our focus for the entire practice.
Okay. What sets you guys different from everybody else? You told me how you always wanted to stand apart. So now that you've been here, you've been running, and you've had people, many different people come through the cognitive clinic, what sets you apart?
Um, I think the biggest thing that sets us apart is that you will not find an institutional looking anything within our offices, right? Like I'm going to put my foot up. I got my slippers on. There's nothing institutional about my slippers. There's fresh flowers. There's aroma going on with our diffusers. We, have our different. Oh, what else we have? We've got our different areas like our kindness rocks and um, our inspiration station. So like every little nook of our offices, whether we're talking about the waiting room or our actual individual offices, they're cozy. And the best compliment we can get is when someone comes in and says, "Is this someone's apartment? Does someone live here?" And we're like, "Yes, that's what we want." You're not going to find anything cookie cutter. So I think that's what sets us apart. And then we've got some people who have, really good ideas and are willing to do that extra to set themselves apart too. So people can come here and be able to meet with a variety of different counselors and not just have the same people doing the same thing in every one of the offices. So I think, I think that's the biggest thing, and people feel it. They walk in and they can feel it. In fact, if you ever walk in, and come and visit us, let us know. We'll give you a tour. We love this place. So, um, yeah, I think that would be
Yes, we do love this place.
that would be exciting to be able to show it off some more.
Hmm.
For sure.
What's one thing for anyone, for the few people who don't know where the cognitive clinic is or who we are, what is one thing that you would want to say to your audience?
Well, we are a group private practice, and what makes that so inviting is that we have a group of people who have talents in different areas. So someone might do EMDR, someone might do brain spotting, somebody might specialize in kids, somebody else might do play therapy, um, work with couples, and we all don't do the same things, but we all have an area in which we are um, really good. And so what's nice is that you can come and you can get a variety of options. Um, and we like to collaborate too, which makes it even more exciting. It's not just that we're sharing space. we have the ability to share clients as well. So if I need help with somebody, then I can turn to my other therapist and vice versa. And I think clients really pick up on that and they really appreciate that.
Right, right. So, what would be one thing if it was other counselors or psychiatrists or nurse practitioners that wanted to come be a part of the practice? What's one thing you would say to them to come, as far as getting more people to come and join you?
Um, I think if you've got a spirit that says that you want to just hold a safe space for the people you work with and just kind of be with them and know that um, by just being centered with them and being present with them, you are helping in such a huge way. Like this isn't about fixing people because we can't fix people. People fix themselves. But if we want practitioners that are going to come in here and just be willing to be authentic, to be genuine, to be in tune with the people they're working with, and just be ready to just to be with them, to know that they're creating a safe space for the people that they're working with, right? And then allowing whatever work to come,
Mm-hmm.
right? That to me makes all the difference in the world. If you're looking to click off the number of clients you have in a week and just collect a paycheck, we're not interested. It's not That's not how we operate around here. There's a depth and a heart to the way each person here works, and so I think to be able to join up with us would mean that you would have to have that same passion about the people.
Right. I can agree. Um, well, that's all the questions I have for you today, but I'm glad you introduced this fabulous place because I definitely enjoy working here. And I'm glad that you're doing this and allowing other people to see more of who you are and the passion behind how you even got here.
Well, thank you for being courageous enough to be my interviewer. So I appreciate that. But hey, everybody, just remember you can change your thoughts and discover your potential. And ultimately, that will transform your life. And you got to do this by focusing on your overall well being. So until next time, continue working on being the best you possible.